Tell me about me. Stop telling 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 me about me. I don't need you to tell me about me.
All right, now, folks, we are back in here again. Get my oldest going, man. You know I got to get my oldest going. Welcome back, y'all, to another one, man. I am your host. Let's Talk with JVJ, man. I hope everybody's doing all right, man. On the way in, as usual, if you're watching over on Let's Talk with JVJ, the JVJ Network, or Let's Talk on Facebook, do your boy a favor by hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, share the videos, turn the notice on, all that in a bag of chips. Look, y'all know what tonight is, man. It's Thursday, so you know we got to talk about them boys, the Popo, the 5-0, the Pigs, the Fuzz, whatever you want to call them. We talking about them tonight. And once again, we're going to be trying to correct some of this bad behavior that constantly keeps happening. Now, if y'all know, I've been doing these shows for a while. I'm never going to run out of videos. I'm hoping one day that I will run out of videos. I hope people understand. Me showing these videos I'm hoping to wake up people to what's actually going on, open their eyes to what's actually going on in society so we can actually start to change things. Because the first step in solving a problem is first admitting that you got one. So, you know, we got a lot of people out here that are a little naive to the game, but we're going to get into it. So y'all saw the title up top. Citizens wronged by the police and the justice system backs them up. So the first video that we're going to get to, y'all, I'm just going to tell you, look, this is just ridiculous. I'm just telling you that right off bat. Picture getting arrested for doing absolutely nothing, and they keep trying to hold it against you and hold it above your head. First video, shout out to Lackluster for the videos. Y'all know I got to go to my boy Lackluster, civil rights lawyer, all these guys, man. They do a
For what crime?
There's no crime. I just have to identify you from.
No, you don't.
Can you dispatch fire department to 2011?
Is your registration?
It's sure.
I want y'all to make sure y'all paid attention to her what the officer just said, all right? Make sure y'all hear that before we move on anywhere else. I don't want to have people coming in trying to argue and saying, like, look, man, just comply. Listen to what she just said.
There's no crime. I just have to.
There's no crime. Remember that. There's no crime. I just want to identify you for the call. Let's just keep going from there.
Identify you from.
No, you don't.
Can you dispatch fire department to 2011?
Is your registration?
It sure isn't. What's the reason you're running my tag? What's the reason you're going to run my tag? For what crime? For what crime? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? For what crime? What crime are you detaining me for? No. What crime are you detaining me for?
Deputy Morgan has now detained Lance immediately after her admission that there is no crime.
There's no crime. I just have to identify you from.
No, you don't.
As they wait for backup to arrive, Lance pauses the recording to save space on his phone, and a few minutes later, Deputy Harnish arrives, and after speaking briefly with Deputy Morgan, he approaches the driver's side window at Lance's vehicle.
What's going on?
I don't know. I came up here using my iPad, and apparently they called the sheriff's department on me.
Okay.
I'm trying to find out why I'm being detained.
Because it's trespassing.
No, it's not trespassing. I'm on public property.
But it's not public anymore because they just got taken.
This is an easement, correct? This is a right of way.
An easement is completely different, right? An easement.
Where am I sitting at? Where am I sitting at right now?
You're sitting in the parking lot.
No. This is an easement. This is an easement.
Sir, applies to utilities.
Okay.
Underground easement, right? If you want.
What's here? Underground utilities. Underground utilities.
Not apply to this.
That runs all the way across.
No, it doesn't actually.
It's how much is the distance from the center road to the right of way?
It actually depends on where you are.
Okay, so what's the distance right here?
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
Okay. What crime am I being detained for?
I just told you trespassing, sir.
I was never told to leave.
Okay. Well, that's why we're here, right? The fire department is here asking for us, okay?
Okay.
So
again, I pulled up here to use my iPad.
Okay,
I said, are you gonna let me talk?
no, I'm not. Give me a second. Let me
Okay.
explain
No.
why.
You don't need to
This place
explain
has
it.
been broken into repeatedly.
That has nothing to do with me.
Okay, if they don't know you and they've been constantly broken into, does that not seem suspicious?
When was it broken into?
When?
Yes.
It's been constantly broken into because this isn't a used facility,
Okay.
right? It was a volunteer department. It just got transferred over. There's a lot going on.
So how am I supposed to know that?
I'm telling you that, right? So that's why it got called in the way it did.
So again, if I'm sitting here using my iPad on an easement on public
And easement
property,
does not apply to
on
this. It doesn't
public
matter to
property.
me. This isn't
Pub-
public property.
How is it not?
Is this public property?
Who
What does
pays
that
the
say?
taxes? Who pays the taxes?
The county. So do you mean you can tell me you can come up to the county? You can sit at the,
Absolutely.
so you can sit at the jail?
Yes.
No, you cannot.
You don't think so?
Not.
Get your sergeant out here.
The sergeant's already on the way.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it is good. We'll be right back.
Now, what am I being detained for, ma'am?
I already told you. For the third time, trespass.
I was never told to leave.
The yellow sign that said no trespassing,
I didn't go past the signs.
it's still here and you did. There's camera footage of it, so please continue.
The interesting thing about public easements is that they're easily accessible to anyone with an internet connection for almost every county in the United States. Not to mention, most law enforcement cruisers utilize a computer-aided dispatch system, and most of those have their local GIS, or Geographical Information System, loaded directly onto the device, allowing the officer to identify who owns a specific property, what land might be private, and yes, even where the public easements are located. Combined with GPS, visual landmark recognition, and common sense, most people with half an IQ point can identify where property begins and ends with an accuracy of about 1 meter.
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
When we look at a map, Lance is parked here, and based on the GIS survey, he is clearly on the public easement.
How much is the distance from the center road to the right of way?
It actually depends on where you are.
Okay, so what's the distance right here?
And I need to pause real quick, like, because a lot of people don't know what a public easement is. So I'm gonna go back to that picture real quick, like, y'all. Let's go back to this picture. All right, wherever you see power lines running, like, y'all know, y'all go up like downtown or whatever, or y'all ride around in the city or whatever, and you can pull into stores and then you can pull out into the road and shit. Those lights, the city poles that are running, electricity, telephone, fiber, all that stuff. Wherever anything is on the right side of it to the street, from the right side to the street or left side to the street, that's all city. You pay taxes for that. That's city property. That's public property. You can stand there all you fucking want. All you want. The whoever owns that building or is renting that property, they don't own that property. They don't own that. He's clearly sitting behind, in front of, towards the road, the power lines. That's public. That's public all the way. And the sad part is that street right there was probably paid for by the public too. Like, and he's saying it was a volunteer firefighter house, but now it's something else. Well, if it's firefighters in there, it's probably not a private firefighter company. It's probably still paid for by the city. So the dude's just sitting in his car minding his business, and it seems like they want to F with him, y'all. Seems like they want to F with him. Got hurricane in, but he said, "Salute JVJ, get him." You know I'm about to. And say the more you know. It's crazy, right? What's the most appalling part about this to me, and I think this is why a lot of people really need to understand when I say it. If the city government really cared about fighting crime and doing it the right way, they would hire lawyers. They would hire lawyers to go out and patrol and enforce laws, because these officers do not know the law. Just because somebody calls them, they think that that's automatically a license to do whatever the fuck you want to do, as if that's the law. That's not the law. Somebody can call you for any goddamn thing. You need to know the law and how to enact it, not just make up shit on the spot. And clearly, you don't know what you're doing. If you really want to solve crime and actually enforce the law, you will hire lawyers, people who are trained in the law, not guys that just went to a couple month long school and they didn't learn the law in there. They just learned how to fucking violate folks and shoot guns. Right, but let's keep going, man. Y'all see he's on the easement, and this cop obviously didn't even want to take the time to look it up on his computer, or he didn't even know it, period, at all. It's very interesting.
He is clearly on the public easement.
How much is the distance from the center road to the right of way?
It actually depends on where you are.
Okay, so what's the distance right here?
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
In fact, the land is not even owned by the fire department. I was even able to do that for this very encounter from more than 1,000 miles away, because the GIS survey even has a measuring feature. Using it shows that Lance could have been parked up to 55 feet away from the center line of the road.
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
But concerning those two no trespassing signs that Deputy Harnish pointed out earlier, as you recall, they are clearly never passed by Lance. And despite Deputy Harnish lying about having video footage of Lance, the signs also happen to be placed on the property line in accordance with the public easement.
An easement is completely different, right?
And of course, to top it all off, no one, not even the deputies, have asked him to vacate the area. But even if you were to throw all of that out the window, the property belongs to a volunteer fire department, which is run by a nonprofit organization and works with the county to provide their service. That being said, many firehouses have community rooms available for citizens to conduct meetings. And though at the time, 31's was still under a remodel, it opened its doors to the public just 2 months later and held an open house in January of 2025. Now, because it is a volunteer department, the land is private property, but there'd be no way for Lance to know that, as number one, he lives out of state, and two, they've covered up the volunteer fire department sign with a sign that omits the word volunteer. To the general public, this looks like public property, and that's still beside the point that Lance never entered the property. But what makes this matter most unforgivable is the fact that two untrained officers failed to use the many resources available to them.
That part.
No. What crime are...
That part right there. Untrained. You out here enforcing shit and you're not trained. You don't know the law. How can you truly enforce the law to the best of your ability if you do not know it? I get somebody to come in and say, well, to the best of their ability, if they don't know it, they ain't going to be able to really enforce it. These motherfuckers don't know the law. And then also the lying part. Remember how he lied? He just pointed that out again. I forgot. The officer said, we got it on camera. They got it on camera. We clearly saw the guys on dash cam. He never went past that marker. And their marker is actually the property line way back there. And they called the cops on him. That's crazy. Think about this. That's crazy. These motherfuckers in the fire department, they claim they're tough, hard, and strong and rugged and shit. Call the cops on somebody sitting on the side of the road in front of the goddamn fire department. That's what they did. That's why I get sick and tired of these Karens and Darrens and shit, man. Like, really, come on, man. You see, Hurricane said untrained. Yeah, completely untrained, man. They just know how to shoot somebody and lock somebody up. Ask for their ID. They know how to do that shit for sure.
What are you detaining me for?
Lied about having footage of Lance trespassing.
You see the yellow signs that say no trespassing?
I didn't go past the signs.
It's still here and you did. There's camera footage of it, so please continue.
And couldn't drop their ego long enough to allow Lance to be free from their unlawful detention, and instead, he was falsely arrested for pulling off the road to use his cell phone in consideration for his own well-being, the safety of others, and the law. He was falsely charged with failure to ID and criminal trespassing, but the failure to ID charge was dismissed by the judge at his arraignment.
Do you have your driver's license on you?
For what crime?
There's no crime. I just have to identify you from
No, you don't.
In my experience, North Carolina sucks. It is one of the few states that requires a court order to obtain body cam footage, and the sheriff's department and county attorney is refusing to provide Lance with police reports, footage, or other discovery. The state is also one of the few that doesn't have a time limit for a speedy trial, and Lance's next hearing is in 7 months, in October. Until then, there's not much more to do, so I'll provide an update when that time comes.
Oh, and best believe y'all, we gonna be around here for an update. So y'all heard, the guy got arrested for failure to ID and criminal trespass. Let's explain the first one. The failure to ID. She already admitted there was no law broken. North Carolina's not an ID on-site state. People will say, well, he's in a vehicle. He wasn't operating it. You can't just walk up to people sitting in a car and say, give me your ID because you're in a car. The only time they can forego your fourth and your second shit is pretty much when you're driving. You give up those rights when you're driving. Your right to privacy is dismissed when you get behind the wheel of a vehicle. But just sitting in that vehicle, they can't just walk up to you like that. So we can already get that done one out the way. And that one was the first thing that got thrown out on his first court date. To my confusion, I do not understand why the judge didn't throw it all out. Because if it's criminal trespass, the camera footage, even if they don't want to give it to the public through a FOIA request, which shows they're trying to cover up something. Because if y'all on the up and up, they always release shit when they feel like they're in the right. Have y'all noticed that in society? Every time there's a police shooting, they feel like they're in the right, they release that video right off bat. But if they think it's some fucked up shit, they hold on to that shit and they try their best never to release it. Every time. Think about all the controversial shootings. Then think about all the ones where they release video on. When they in the right, they'll release it. When they in the wrong, they hold that shit. So he can't even get their footage. Luckily, he has his footage on his phone to show, in his car to show how far he went. But obviously the judge, whether he let the discovery happen or anything like that, he didn't let that be shown. So the guy still has this shit hanging over his head. But I will be on the standby for this one to come out because this is crazy right here. So after he beat that charge, I sue him. Once again, y'all, I'm all about suing these sons of bitches. Sue their ass all goddamn day. And the taxpayers, they got a problem with it. They the main ones who need to actually take a look at the cops because, motherfucker, your tax dollars just gonna get taken. It ain't like they spending no good shit anyways. They might as well give it to one of us for fucking with us. Hurricane said facts. He also said they do it in Detroit all the time. Real shit. But I'm gonna keep y'all updated on that one because yeah, I want to know how that one actually plays out in the long run. Because that man should not have no fucking problems dealing with this shit right here. That should be an open and shut case, Johnson. Sprinkle some crack on him before we leave. Like dead ass serious. It should be that type of situation. But if y'all think that's crazy, just sitting in the car, watch what's smiling and laughing to get you. Watch what's smiling and laughing. Yes, y'all, I'm being dead ass serious. Watch what smiling and laughing gets you with some of these sensitive ass cops. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this next one, y'all. Shout out to the civil rights lawyer. I told you, man, these are my boys. I be using their shit. That's why we gotta be cool. Let's get it, y'all.
Do you think this is funny?
I'm allowed to laugh.
The arrested for laughing case. I'm the lawyer on that civil rights lawsuit. And just last night, we got a ruling finally on whether...
Oh yeah, y'all, and this is an update. We covered this video before.
Whether or not that police officer gets qualified immunity. He got pulled over here in West Virginia for flashing his headlights at oncoming motorists in order to warn them of a notorious speed trap.
That guy flashing these lights, warning everybody you're sitting there. I'm going after him.
That wasn't a crime, so the officer basically made up a citation, and when he went to give it to my client, he laughed.
And I could take you to jail today for your unsigned registration card, but I just wrote you a citation for that. That's actually up to 6 months in jail. You think it's funny, sir?
The officer didn't like that. He pulls him out of the car. He ends up putting him in handcuffs.
Step out of the vehicle.
Are you serious?
Place your hands behind your back for me.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me.
Oh, man, you're serious, brother.
I'm not your brother.
I've seen on some of the viral videos floating around the internet all sorts of claims about what actually happened in that case. But they're all wrong. I'm litigating the lawsuit and it's actually still pending. But there's a huge update. After we filed the lawsuit, that officer and the sheriff of that county asked the federal court to dismiss it and to give the officer qualified immunity, claiming that the driver had no right to warn others about a speed trap and also had no right to laugh at the police. And the
about that right there, y'all. Let me slide to the side so y'all can read that. So he's fighting the case. Civil rights lawyer is fighting the case right now. And he's saying that the defense for the cop is literally arguing why they should get qualified immunity is that the guy that he's representing did not have the right to warn others of a speed trap by flashing his headlights. He didn't have the right. Think about the audacity of that. You don't have the right to warn people with your headlights. And then also that he did not have the right to laugh at the officer. This is what a fucking lawyer for the city that our taxpayers pay is arguing for some cops in court. All your taxpayers, like, look, they talking about waste and fraud and abuse and shit. Look, bitch, I think y'all looking in the wrong place. You going for fucking Medicaid and Medicare and shit. How about you come look at some of these judges and some of these prosecutors? Not just the ones that you disagree with. Look at all the motherfuckers. Like, this is crazy right here. This crazy right here. He had a right to laugh and he had a right to flash his headlights. Okay, let's see how this shit plays out.
Court answered those questions. Did he get qualified immunity or did the court deny him qualified immunity?
They better deny that motherfucker.
I recently realized that I had no idea how many subscriptions I had on different devices. $100 million in canceled subs. Go to Rocket Money for Deputy J.D. Ellison. The county seat of Nicholas County is Summersville, West Virginia. For many, many, many years, the 4-lane highway, Route 19, that runs through or next to Summersville has been known as a notorious speed trap. In fact, in footnote 1 of the court's order that I'm going to tell you about in this video, the court...
Hey man, nah, you can't, look, you can't be telling them motherfuckers this is a notorious speed trap. They gonna say you ain't got the right to warn people on the internet next. Think about it, y'all, man. Civil rights, you might want to watch, man. I'm gonna have to watch out too, y'all. I'm gonna have to watch out too. I had just thought about that, man. They might try to argue in court that it's against the law for me to tell you that these motherfuckers doing some fucked up shit. You never know, man. Let's keep going, y'all. That's crazy. Trying to argue that dumbass shit.
Court took judicial notice of the fact that this incident happened at the site of a notorious speed trap. I even found some news videos going way, way, way back discussing the fact that this spot is a speed trap.
Ever get a speeding ticket you didn't think you deserved? Well, this is a story for you. It's about Summersville, West Virginia, a town that likes life in the slow lane.
Lock everybody up at that news station right now. They don't have the right to be telling people this shit.
So much so, it's known as the speed trap of North America, handing out thousands of tickets a year.
For Canadians, there is one big bump on the road to the late winter respite in the U.S. South. And it's here, amid the rolling hills of the Appalachians, where the local law patrols its turf rigorously, assiduously, unrelentingly. Though they don't target Canadians specifically. No. They'll write speeding tickets to anyone passing through.
Hello, man. Have you operated some restoration there? Okay.
Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Here being an otherwise tranquil little community of 3,000 or so souls, nestled alongside a roadway very popular with thousands of Canadians traveling back and forth on Florida vacations.
At least back then, they apparently were much kinder, at least when they were on camera, to the Canadians than they were to William Iannacona, who was a guy that this happened to, who originally brought me the footage. William Iannacona was driving through this notorious speed trap, this stretch of US Route 19, on May 13th of 2022. And while doing so, he noticed a parked police car that was running radar to catch speeding motorists. So he decided to send a warning to the oncoming motorists that they were about to cross paths with the officer. To send that message, he began flashing his headlights at the passing cars. As the court wrote, his message got through to the oncoming motorists, but unfortunately for him, Deputy J.D. Ellison was among the recipients of that message. Ellison, a deputy of the Nicholas County Sheriff's Department, turned his vehicle around and initiated a traffic stop. In his body cam footage, Ellison can be heard talking to another officer, presumably the one that was running the speed trap, notifying him that he caught the plaintiff doing this and that he was going to pull him over.
That guy flashing these lights, warning everybody you're sitting there. I'm going after him.
And after he did, Deputy Ellison explained to Mr. Iannacona that he had pulled him over for flashing his headlights to warn other drivers of the officer running radar.
That was pretty stupid, wasn't it?
What's that?
Flashing your lights at everybody to let them know that law enforcement was sitting there running radar.
Is that what I did? Is that a crime?
Yep.
It is? I didn't know that.
You got your license registration privilege. Why would you do that? You're flashing your high beams at people to...
In the daytime?
Yeah.
He admitted to the other officer why he did it. He admitted to Mr. Iannacona why he did it. That's really not in dispute. The driver then explained to the deputy that he was unaware that flashing his headlights as a warning to other drivers was illegal.
I didn't know that was a crime.
It doesn't say daytime or nighttime. It just says that you can't do it, and you did it. Yeah, you can't high beam people at any time in the daytime or nighttime.
I didn't know. I mean, yeah, nighttime I understand. Daytime.
And y'all picture the cops say you can't high beam. Y'all think just by turning on your lights during the daytime is automatically turning on the high beams? You think that man was flashing his high beams? Or you think he was just clicking his light? Because he got a Honda, so he probably got one of the little switches on the side where you can just turn it left, right, lights on, lights off, lights on, lights off. You got to actually push the goddamn fucking windshield controller all the way to the fucking front to make the high beams come on. So he didn't say he was putting on the high beams, but the officer keeps saying high beams. We even got cars that run full time. I got daytime running lights on my Beamer. They on all the time. All the fucking time, running them bulbs up.
I'm sure I could articulate some other kind of driving charge in there for doing that too.
Oh, Lord, now he ain't that. Now he want to make up something. And think about it, he pulled him over because he was stopping y'all from fucking pulling people over to try to generate some more money, because that's the only reason they out there, y'all. Just understand it. These motherfuckers that be sitting on the roads writing tickets all day, that's just another way for the city to generate more money out of you. Taxing you and making these people get paid for doing a job that you didn't ask them to do. You didn't ask them to take your tax dollars. That ain't enough. They need to get out here and write tickets on your ass to generate more money. And they'll say it, they'll hide it underneath their safety. They some of the worst drivers I see.
And he said that he believed he was engaging in protected speech by using his headlights in this way. But as the court wrote, Deputy Ellison was unmoved by plaintiff's constitutional appeal. He proceeded to write out 2 citations to the plaintiff, one for violating the special restrictions on lamps statute, whatever that is, and another for an unsigned registration card.
All right, sir, there's your stuff back there. And I wrote you 2 citations today. First one being special restrictions on lamps, which you can read that code, and it says no flashing lights shall be on a vehicle. And at that point in time, you had flashing lights on your vehicle. It's unauthorized.
No flashing lights on a vehicle. Think about that, y'all. You have blinkers, flashing lights. You have your regular lights that you can turn on and turn back off, which technically would make them flash. And if you do it right, you can do it with your hand. You can make them flashing. What the fuck is he talking about? That is not a law. That's not even a traffic infraction. He just wrote him a ticket for some bullshit.
Well, under the Constitution, it's protected under the First Amendment. Well, I'm going to look into it.
That's in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it and see that. That's what you
Listen to how dumb this officer is. Listen to what he just told the officer. Listen to what he told the officer and listen to the officer's response. This shows you how dumb these motherfuckers are. They do not know the law.
Well, I'm going to look into it.
That's in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it.
Yeah.
Once again, I didn't go back far enough.
Well, under the Constitution, it's protected under the First Amendment. Well, I'm going to look into it.
That's in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it and see that.
This man said in the Constitution, he's reading up the Constitution right now, and he says it's legal in the Constitution. This man said that's in Tennessee. He's like, no. That only applies for Tennessee. Bitch, the Constitution covers the entire United States of America. Ain't you a law enforcement officer? Didn't you swear an oath to uphold the laws and the Constitution of the United States of America? Bitch, that don't mean just in Tennessee. What the fuck is he talking? Dude, what the fuck is he talking about? This is an officer stopping somebody for a so-called crime. He don't even know the Constitution. It's freedom of speech. You cannot regulate somebody's speech no matter if you just don't like it. It's got to go beyond certain measures for you to regulate speech. And flashing your headlights has been adjudicated in court already. Like, what are you talking? This dude does not know the law, but he out here writing tickets, y'all. Think about that.
Yeah.
Free speech.
Yeah, it's not illegal to do that, to flash and warn, but it's illegal to high beam. And it is legal to have flashing lights on your vehicle, not being an emergency vehicle. Huh?
I said, I'll see.
Okay.
Before he gave the citations to the plaintiff, Deputy Ellison proceeded to extend the traffic stop. He began explaining to Mr. Iannacona that the maximum penalties for an unsigned registration card included 6 months in jail and that he could arrest him instead of giving him a citation. The driver, apparently finding this suggestion absurd, began laughing. That then infuriated Ellison, who immediately retaliated by ordering him to get out of the vehicle, and then he placed him in handcuffs and led him back to the cruiser. During this exchange, where Deputy Ellison took exception to being called brother by saying, "I'm not your brother, and I'll never be your brother."
And I could take you to jail today for your unsigned registration card, but I just wrote you a citation for that. That's actually up to 6 months in jail. You think it's funny, sir?
I'll take the ticket, sir.
I know, but do you think this is funny?
I'm allowed to laugh. I can laugh all over.
Okay, go ahead and step back here for me. Sir, I'm asking you to step out.
Am I being detained?
Yes, sir, you are. Step out of the vehicle.
Are you serious?
Place your hands behind your back for me.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me.
Oh, man, you're serious, brother.
I'm not your brother.
Believe me, you're not.
Yeah, I'll never be your brother.
Exactly. Be careful.
I don't want to be your brother.
Be careful.
Don't jerk away from me, sir.
Just be careful.
Don't jerk away from me.
My wallet is in the car.
Okay, I don't want you to jerk away from me
I was
right
going
there.
away from the traffic.
No, I was putting you in front of my car.
Okay.
Which is away from traffic.
You're arresting me for laughing.
No.
I didn't do anything.
I'm arresting you for unsigned registration.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
If you're arrested him for unsigned registration, why you already got the ticket wrote? Dude, we know what the fuck you trying to arrest this guy for. He laughed in your face, and it wasn't even like a real laugh. It was more like, oh, you think that's funny? I'm talking about softer than motherfucking Charmin, y'all. Softer than Charmin out here. First off, you don't know the fucking law. And you got an attitude problem. You very fucking sensitive. I'll never be your brother. Like, what the fuck is wrong with the dude? And they paying. We paying for this shit, y'all. We paying for this shit. And they'll cover for these motherfuckers. They'll spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of your fucking tax dollars to fight these motherfuckers in court and give up a settlement because of these motherfuckers in court. I'll never be your brother. You pull this man out of the vehicle because he laughs about the dumb shit you doing. You being petty. I wrote you for your registration, unsigned registration. I'm going to take you to jail for not signing a piece of paper for your vehicle. Like, come on, what kind of dumb shit does that even sound like?
Okay, so stand right there. Hang tight in front of my vehicle for me. Hang tight right here in front of my vehicle for me.
The plaintiff was then forced to stay in handcuffs for several minutes along the busy Route 19 before eventually Deputy Ellison finally released him after speaking in his car with an unnamed prosecuting attorney.
I guess I'll see you in court. All right, ticket still stands there. Special restrictions on lamps.
Somebody, some lawyer had it. Look, first off, he should have ripped up all the tickets. But whoever he talked to in that car was like, dude, you can't take dude to jail for that. Whatever lie he probably even made up in there about the situation. Like he probably, let's say he told him the truth. Let's say he told him the truth and said, yeah, he got unsigned registration. I'm about to generate this arrest. It's like unsigned, but just write him a ticket for that, man. We ain't got to go through all that. Don't do that, man. It might be a lawsuit. Because you see how he came out. Well, what the fuck did he actually say? What did he say when he walked out? Because he sounds so disappointed that he couldn't take this man to jail. Let's do it again.
And finally released him after speaking in his car with an unnamed prosecuting attorney.
I guess I'll see you in court.
I guess I'll see you in court. That motherfucker sounds so sad. He really wanted to take that man to jail for what? Laughing in your face? He's so sad about it, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, man. All I can say is one thing, man. One thing only, man.
That ain't right. It ain't right.
That shit ain't right there, man. That shit is not right. You see, you got Uncanny in the building. He said the biggest scam in the world. And Hurricane said he hate the cops. All right, he taking it all the way up. And yeah, this shit sad, man. No, it is a scam, man. It is a scam. Honestly, I think the biggest scam in the world is insurance. I think that's the biggest scam right there. Because you don't get no rebate back. This shit, I don't think it's a scam. I just think this is just petty theft. Like, this is extortion of the U.S. government to their citizens. I ain't agree to none of these taxes, nigga. I'm just telling you that right now. I didn't agree to this, but you saying just because I was born here, I'm automatically signed up for this shit no matter what. You gonna take my money whether I like it or not. That's bullshit, because I wouldn't fund these motherfuckers. I wouldn't pay for my tax dollars to fund these motherfuckers. I wouldn't. I'll invest money in the community policing, but not these motherfuckers. Hell to the no. Motherfuckers from the neighborhoods, motherfuckers from the actual city that live in that community, I pay for them to be the police, and then we can have some real understanding with these motherfuckers. But I wouldn't pay these motherfuckers. Half these motherfuckers don't even live in the jurisdiction that they patrol. They just coming in. I'm an out-of-town guy coming to another town to fuck him up. That's what it be going on, man. But look, he's sad about this shit, man. That man real fucking sensitive about not being able to take him to jail. Guess I'll see you in court.
All right, ticket still stands there. Special restrictions on lamps. Unsigned registration card. I gave you till the 23rd of this month to contact the magistrate. Phone number's on your copy there. Once you contact them, they can tell you how to take care of it. Okay. All righty, sir. Be safe.
He brought the original video to me. I helped him find a criminal defense attorney. I did an update video on it after he beat the criminal case on appeal, actually. Since then, I filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. That police officer asked the federal court.
Think about that, y'all. On appeal. On appeal. So I want y'all to understand what he's saying about it. On appeal. He beat it on appeal. First time he went into court and he pled not guilty, the judge looked at the shit and did not decide to throw it out. They found him fucking guilty. And he had to appeal that shit. Think about it. We watched the video. We watched what happened. Some judge or some fucking, it's probably just a judge because this is court shit, just traffic shit. So he probably went in front of a judge and a judge probably wanted him to just pay that money. He found him guilty of the dude had to appeal it, had to go in front of another judge. For that judge to see it and say, like, nah, man, that's bullshit. So you already got one judge that was about to fucking actually go along with the bullshit. They all working in coercion, man. They working together. The prosecutor, the judge, and the cops. And let's not forget the city council and the mayor. Got to make sure we get all those in there too, because they allowing that shit too. Let's keep going.
Court to grant him qualified immunity. And the ruling just came out last night. By the way, this is what Deputy Ellison's boss, the elected sheriff of Nicholas County, West Virginia, this is what he had to say about the video that we just watched of what he did to Mr. Iannacone. He specifically addresses this video. So listen to what he says and then compare his words to the court's opinion.
Another topic I would like to cover is incidents regarding one of our other deputies, Deputy Ellison. There's been a live video circulating regarding a traffic stop that resulted in citations being issued. During the stop, the individual began laughing at said officer because of flashing lights and trying to warn other drivers of what could have been a high priority investigation. Examples: trying to locate a missing child that's been abducted, murder suspect, someone bringing poison, drugs into our area that possibly get into our child's hands, trying to find a offender running a stoplight. We all know that's a current problem in our area. When someone acts irrational, it is not normal. It raises questions for further.
Did y'all hear all that shit that he tried to throw in here when the situation was really he was warning people of your cops sitting down there just trying to generate some money for the county? You threw in, it could have been a drug bust, high-stakes police investigation. Somebody could be running a stop sign. Shut your goofy backwood ass up. Like, dude, even if you were doing that, it's not against the law for somebody to warn somebody. So what are you trying to do? Shame him in public? Trying to say, well, the moral thing is to not warn people about the police. That's what you trying to say. Bro, that man, look, your hair don't even believe what the fuck you saying. That's why it's running away from your face. Bro, this is stupid, bro.
Possible involvement in criminal activity. He was detained for a short period, then released with citations of what the officer believed was a violation. Further added, the prosecutor believed a violation also occurred, resulting in a hearing where a magistrate convicted and believed one occurred also. The case was then appealed to the circuit court before Judge Callahan, where he overturned the ruling. I will say I believe the wheels of justice was served. And this, folks, is exactly why we have the best justice system in the world.
Hold up, buddy. You do understand that your officer pulled somebody over and attempted to arrest them. That part you left out. But pulled them over for something that, yes, one court did convict him of. But when he appealed it and it went to a higher court, like a better judge, one that's got more time in the game, that should know the law just like the first one, but knows the law a little bit better because they're more seasoned. They said, y'all motherfuckers was wrong and threw it out. How do you feel like the wheels of justice spin? You fucking up the wheels, bitch. You fucking up the wheels. Your other officer, your prosecutor, the judge, and whoever the fuck else. I know somebody else that's probably a problem. And it's probably the stenographer, the one that be typing the shit. Bitch, fuck her too. Like being dead ass serious, like y'all tripping, bro. Y'all tripping. That no. The wheels of justice didn't spin the right way. Luckily it stepped in at the very last second. Because if it was up to you, that man would fucking be in jail right now. He'd be paying a fine right now. That's crazy. Nah, man. Bro, you tripping, bro.
Nowhere else in the world has this type of accountability. It is not perfect. However, it is very rare that it fails the citizens of this country. Also says individuals, none of us are perfect. There was only one. Mistakes are made daily and addressed accordingly. As to the officer involved, he has received counseling not only from myself, but my chief and his immediate supervisor. Our office has the utmost respect for our prosecutors, magistrate.
You talked to him about it. Even though you just sat here and defended it. So what did you actually... Y'all, he just said he talked to him. The officer was counseled by him and his lieutenant. But you sat on here before you even said that and defended everything that the motherfucker did. So what the fuck you say to him? Man, these motherfucking courts. What did you say to him? The man was wrong. He was wrong and the judge threw it out. Oh my... I don't know. I need to stop listening to these motherfuckers too much, bro. I just listen to this shit too much because these motherfuckers just be saying dumb shit out their mouth. Hurricane said, I just sent you a clip from that Martin show. The sit your ass down clip. Yeah, man, like real shit. I need to use that. Oh, Lord. This dude tripping, bro. He tripping. And he's spitting in the citizen's face. Y'all were wrong, bitch. Y'all were wrong. And you just defended it the whole fucking time. Talking about you canceled the motherfucker. He said, what the fuck you tell them? Nothing.
And judges. They do an outstanding
Spin that motherfucker. And your ass too.
That was the sheriff's opinion, but here's the opinion that matters so far, and that's from the federal courts. As applied to these specific facts, as alleged, that I've just recited to you, the court held this. Plaintiff contends that Deputy Ellison stated he initiated the stop because plaintiff was signaling other drivers of the presence of another officer. There does not appear to be a law in West Virginia that criminalizes such behavior. Taking the facts as the court must in the light most favorable to the plaintiff, Deputy Ellison allegedly initiated the stop without reasonable suspicion. Such a stop would violate the Fourth Amendment. The court explained that unconstitutionally extending a stop by even a de minimis amount of time violates the Fourth Amendment. So even assuming a valid traffic stop exists, police officers cannot extend that stop any amount of time, or they violate the Fourth Amendment. The court said by failing to hand over the already written citations and prolonging the encounter, Deputy Ellison arguably made the stop longer than necessary to effectuate its purpose. Regarding the fact that Ellison ordered Mr. Iannacone out of the car, the court said, while it is true that an officer may order a suspect out of the car during a valid Terry stop, such order is only valid if an officer possesses an articulable and objectively reasonable belief that the suspect is potentially dangerous. The defendants cite nothing to suggest that between initiating the traffic stop and plaintiff's laughter, that Ellison noticed anything that would suggest the encounter became dangerous to him. Without such justification, the act of ordering plaintiff out of the car is arguably unjustified. And regarding the frisk of the plaintiff, the court said, again, there is nothing to suggest at this time that Deputy Ellison became aware of an evolving threat to his safety. Thus, even assuming this was a frisk of the plaintiff, it was arguably unjustified based on the facts alleged. So I've told you many times that police officers forget that element. In order to pull somebody out of their car and frisk them, there has to be facts objectively available that the individual is armed or dangerous. And in many cases, that does not exist, just like here. In many cases, that's used as sort of a retaliation for perceived disrespect. The defendants argue.
Well, and I'm trying to tell y'all, he reiterating this shit again, man. And I like this extra part that he put on it because I didn't know that part. They got to perceive you as a threat, as a danger to them to ask you out of that car, which is kind of stupid, y'all. When you think if the person's dangerous, why would you want them to get closer to you? But no, we're not going to sit here and talk about what's actually logic because, you know, these motherfuckers make rules about whatever. But unless he feels like you're dangerous and you might pose a threat to him, he can ask you out. I always say anyways, look, man, just get the fuck out for them because they're going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do anyways. Just say, look, for what? They say, just get out the car. I'm like, all right, man, I'm doing this against my will. Get out the fucking car. Get out the fucking car. Let them go on about their fucking business then. Because it's like you already got a lawsuit right then and there. So especially if they don't perceive you as a threat, that's a good one to know. Add that on top. Cherry on top. But this is bullshit.
That there's no First Amendment right to flash your headlights and warn oncoming motorists about a speed trap. Here's what the court said about that. Given the fact that plaintiff contends that Deputy Ellison knew and understood the message he was attempting to send, the court finds no reason to conclude that flashing one's headlights do not constitute protected speech. Moreover, initiating a traffic stop because of protected speech and without probable cause would certainly deter a person from engaging in that protected speech in the future. Regarding qualified immunity, the court said this. Defendants assert that Deputy Ellison is entitled to qualified immunity because it is debatable and thus not clearly established that flashing one's headlights to warn other motorists is protected speech. That assertion, however, misses the point. Every reasonable officer in the United States is aware that retaliation for First Amendment speech is a violation of a person's constitutional rights. Whereas here, the allegation is that a defendant knew of the speech and reacted to it accordingly, qualified immunity cannot serve as a proper shield. If just as plaintiff alleges Deputy Ellison knew of plaintiff's speech, had no probable cause to initiate the stop, and stopped plaintiff anyway because of that speech, then the actions make out a classic First Amendment retaliation claim. Thus, the court denied qualified immunity to Deputy Ellison. Also, the court said qualified immunity is not applicable to the officer's decision to order Mr. Iannacone out of the car and handcuff him, because it's clearly established that an officer may not arrest an individual either absent probable cause or with sufficiently provable retaliatory animus. In other words, police officers are supposed to know they can't arrest people just for their engaging in protected speech like flashing headlights. So there you have it. Like you heard in the sheriff's video.
And I want y'all to really think about that. The first judge, we passed the officers not knowing the fucking law because that's as clear as day. A sitting judge, the first sitting judge, supposed to know the law. Either he know the law and just said, fuck it, he gonna do what he want to do in his courtroom. Is he cool with the police officers and shit? Maybe they gonna let him out of a DUI, beating on his wife on the weekend or something. Who knows what? But he saw all this and he's supposed to know the law. And he was like, nope, guilty. And when we get to a real judge, they even breaking it down like even a reasonable officer should know that flashing headlights is freedom of speech. You can't pull somebody over that for that. And even if you didn't know, you kind of let us know because you fucking said it. You said it to the driver in the video. First judge saw all this same shit and didn't see nothing wrong with it. I'll let you know you got some crooked motherfuckers in there. Dude, you can't just do all this shit and think it's okay. And also think about it, the judges are saying this and this motherfucker don't agree with it. Don't even agree with it. This is crazy, man. This is crazy, but I'm gonna let him finish up and we're gonna go on to the next video.
So where he tried to gaslight the public and claim that there was some legitimate public safety threat because this man flashed his headlights. He knows the real reason that Mr. Iannacone was stopped. Everyone knows the real reason. And the fact is that flashing headlights, whether the Supreme Court has recognized it yet or not, is a physical act among many, many others that are described by case law that can be protected speech. And in this case, as we've alleged, it was intended as protected speech and it was received by the officer as protected speech. And he admitted that several times during the body cam footage. And that protected speech made him mad, so he retaliated. So this is just the motion to dismiss stage, which is based on the allegations made in the complaint. The court will address all of these issues again at the summary judgment stage, which will include the testimony of the individuals and all other evidence, including the video footage. We're still in the discovery process. That's still happening, but I anticipate the facts will show as we've alleged because it's all on video. It doesn't really matter if anyone disagrees with that. Therefore, no matter what you've seen on any viral video, this is a pending case. These things take time. Sometimes it can take years. Depositions are actually coming up in this case, and then we'll go to court again. And after we get a court order at that point, I'll hopefully give you a positive update at that time. So if you want to follow along, please subscribe both here.
All right. So I was mistaken. The case still going on. But what we do know is that they took away that qualified immunity for the officer. You don't get qualified immunity in this. Any reasonable officer would know that you can't do that. And it's crazy that you got to do all this shit in these multiple fucking steps, y'all. These multiple steps. They drag this shit the fuck out when these motherfuckers do some wrong shit. Let them try to hem your ass up for something, man. You'll have an expedited court date. Y'all see all these celebrities and actors and movie stars. Well, I say actors and movie stars. Fucking basketball players and shit like that, man. They be expediting their cases fast. They be getting them motherfuckers in the court quick. Well, it still take a while, but it be faster than our regular shit. You'll see your goddamn court date for a traffic ticket be fucking 6 months away. Like, god damn, nigga. What you really trying to give me some time to pay this shit before I come into court, huh? You want me to get that money up? And see, Hurricane said, facts. That shit funny, man. All this shit is just a revenue collection service. That's all this is. But I got a question for y'all. If you got hit by the police and it was 100% their fault, I'm talking about hit with their car, like they hit your car with their car. That type shit. You get hit by the police and it's 100% their fault. You would think that they would pay for it, right? You would think that they would pay for it, right? Well, let's watch this video, y'all. Let's see what we got. Oh, and shout out to who I got right now. Back to Lackluster, y'all. Back to Lackluster. Let's go and shout them out again. Let's go. If they hit you, you think they pay for it?
Okay. She's not okay, dude. Why would you do that?
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. In June of 2024, rookie trooper Winthet was being trained by Trooper Nick for the Minnesota State Police. While driving, they noticed a vehicle in the oncoming lanes of traffic, speeding, and pulled over to the right to make a U-turn. The troopers did not activate their emergency tones or lights and attempted to make the U-turn from the right-hand emergency lane. The reckless maneuver caused the cruiser to collide with the vehicle that had been behind them for the past several miles. It should be noted that the dashcam footage has 13 audio redactions, and of the 7 bodycam videos you're about to watch, the Minnesota State Patrol edited out the 30-second buffer period that is captured prior to activating their bodycams. These edits were intentional, and while their reasoning is still unknown, the purposeful edits happen to omit what the officers were doing prior to and during the accident.
Okay? No, she's not okay, dude. You need an ambulance started. Yeah, she's okay. My leg's all fucked up. Okay. What the fuck, guys? Shit. What's that for? You okay?
Yeah, why would you do that, though?
You need an ambulance started.
No, why would you do that, though?
He was turning on the car and he didn't see you. Okay?
I was turning on the car.
Where are they from? She got a very interesting accent, y'all. Where are they from?
You okay?
Yeah, why would you do that, though?
You need an ambulance started.
No, why would you do that, though?
He was turning on the car.
Reggie, do that thong. It's like he's got like a little bird call to the thong, like a fucking. What I mean, it's turkeys. I mean, that shit. I don't know, man. She got it. I got to find out where they from again, man. Because they got to be somewhere like country up north woods, something like that. I don't know, man. That's a weird accent.
He didn't see you.
Okay. I was turning on the car.
Yeah, we saw a speeder went by. I understand.
Yo, fuck this shit up.
SQ1 Marshall.
You're right.
Fuck that shit up.
You're right.
You serve the other car involved with 1050 another vehicle.
Damn, I was trying to get a good Paul in, denting his shit up, bruh. I don't even know if she'd be able to open that door. She might be able to open it. Probably should be able to open it. They fucked that shit up. They hit that shit up. Made out of straight plastic.
23, mile marker 79. We're on the.
And that's what his fat ass get. Why you threw your head on the ground in the first place like that, man? You being a little too dramatic right now. Y'all both all right, man. It's the cops that hit you. You should get paid for this. I would have been rolling around acting like my back hurt. I'm being dead serious, y'all. I would have been rolling around acting like my back hurt. You know, that's one thing they cannot prove. Science cannot prove if something's wrong with your back or not. They can't prove it. You can argue that shit in court. They can't prove that. They can't prove that your back don't hurt. That's all you always see somebody get into an accident. They come in with that little neck brace on. Oh, my neck, my back. They can't prove something wrong with that shit. They can prove a broken neck because that's easy to see, but all them nerves and all that shit that run down your spine, they can't prove that shit hurt or not. And all they can do is go off of what you say. The pain. I'll be on the ground, bro. Call the ambulance. Call them.
Negative. What's that? Yeah. Just making sure you're all right.
Make sure she's all right, dude.
I don't understand. I'm working with the officer. He didn't see you.
Man, I tell that mother, get your fucking hand on me, cuz.
Okay. Can you have a seat in the car to make sure you stay okay so no one else gets us out here?
I'm okay.
Yes.
Jamie now moves his car further off the highway.
You want to just stay in the car, please? Can you stay in the car, please? Just in case someone else will get us out here. Can you stay in the car, please? Yeah, just so we don't, in case someone else gets us out here. Okay. Do you have your driver's license and proof of insurance, please? Yep. We've got another unit coming, so. And you're certain you're okay? Okay.
Jamie provides the officer with his license.
Just sit tight and just, I'm sorry, I'm just glad no one's hurt, okay? Just sit tight and we have someone coming. Are you okay to drive a car? Yeah. So I think what we might do rather than sit here on the side of the road is we'll go and get off the road up here. Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow you guys.
Okay. We just had a secret passenger side of this.
The officers now have Jamie follow them to a dirt road where traffic isn't as heavy. Neither officer turns off their body cam, but the department removed 8 minutes of footage from this video. Only the dash cam was provided in full, but even it had 13 redactions in the audio. But they did not redact the seatbelt chime as the officers continued to drive without due regard for the laws they were enforcing.
Lock their ass up. Lock their ass up right now. You ain't got the seatbelt on. You'll write me a ticket for it. We hear that shit dinging like a motherfucker.
The officers finally find a dirt road to turn onto.
We'll be sitting on 310th Street after 23.
Hell no, you can't park right there, man. Hell no, man. We just watched the video, the first video, man. They gave a dude a ticket for pulling down the road like this, man. What's that for? Called the police on y'all. Y'all that pulling up on that property. Y'all ain't on no easement. Y'all, I'm being petty, man. I'm being petty, man. Think about this, y'all. They took a guy to jail for doing exactly what they did right here. The cops did right here.
Driver's license? Yes, sir.
Both parties wait in their respective vehicles for a supervisor to arrive, during which the MSP mutes nearly 2 minutes of audio. In later emails with the agency, Jamie is told by a staff attorney that the redactions are due to radio traffic that doesn't involve his case. But considering the duration and time frame, as well as the other redacted body cam, it seems more likely that they've removed a conversation about the incident between the training officer and the rookie. The MSP attorney then tells Jamie that if he wants the rest of the records, he needs to obtain them through a court order. The rookie does not leave the passenger seat for the remainder of Jamie's time on scene.
Morning. So what happened? driving, Marshall.
Okay. So you're going.
We're going south. That's Marshall.
Okay, southbound.
And I knew it was cops on us. He went off to the right, like they could go off the side. And so I slowed down a little bit, and all of a sudden, bam, he went left. There's nothing I could do. He hit me, and
all right.
I mean, it was totally completely his fault. Right?
Okay. All right. Were you guys wearing your seatbelts?
Yes.
No injuries, nothing like that. No. So you're fine.
I want my car fixed.
Yeah. Well, we'll get you the reports and everything, and but I'm gonna take pictures.
Yeah. You want my?
Can you?
Here's my shoes too.
If you got.
It's digital.
Okay.
Sweet, this is digital.
While the supervisor collects Jamie's insurance, Trooper Nick makes a phone call.
Yeah, no one's hurt, but he pulled over and just went to turn before I could even say anything. No, he hit on the passenger side, but they were coming by and he was just barely starting to turn. So,
can you just pull out a little bit that way so I don't not in the.
Yeah.
That's fine, right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch cars because I've got lights going off on mine and stuff and screen stuff rubbing, but theirs is drivable, yeah. So what do you want me to do for the rest of the day with him? Yeah, I mean, do you want him behind the wheel anymore today, or? Okay. Yeah, well, I was definitely thinking probably not behind the wheel today, so. Okay. All right, thanks. All right. Work should be good.
Is he all right?
Yeah, you just got to do some size. Find the insurance.
Remember how good the citizens are, man. I wouldn't have asked that question. You asking if the officer that hit you, that could have almost deleted you and your daughter. Think about it. If he would have turned real hard, but they could have flipped that shit over. They could have been rolling down that little country road, bro. They probably miles and miles away from a hospital, bro. If somebody was really, really hurt, bro, this shit could have been bad, and you worrying about the motherfucker that hit you. Watch what they about to do, y'all, after all this shit go down. He over here worrying about them, right? Okay.
Sorry. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Understand.
Just looking for a state insurance card. In here somewhere. You have someone their insurance?
Yep, I will. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'll get you a card, case number on it and stuff, and get you. The state is self-insured. It's like policy A.
I'm getting that info form. I'll put it on the back of my card.
Okay, you go.
I don't know what
No, I understand. Honestly, I was more worried.
Stop sucking dick. They hit you. This a motherfucker. I just don't get it, man. I don't know why he kissing their ass.
I just didn't want another car to come by and hit you. That's what I was worried about, honestly. I didn't want to get out and yell at you.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that. I feel bad for you, man.
He's getting me a card that has the insurance and the case number on it, and
Sucker.
That is correct address for you. Fine, my hat. Just let me make sure I entered your info in there, but then we'll get you on your way.
So yeah, this is my card, my information, and this is our state of Minnesota self-insured. So that's the number that you give the insurance company, and this is the case number.
Okay. So call Safe Farm. We'll give them this.
Yep. Thanks.
Sound good?
And I'll get you whatever else. I'm sure he's going to get you info.
Yeah. Here's your stuff. That's my card too. Case number on it too.
Okay. Well, thanks, troopers. I appreciate it.
So I will. You can take off. So
shrug it off. I'm a military guy, so hopefully. Tell them to try to forget about it.
If you need, I can get you contact. You can call our office if you want to talk to the supervisor.
Our office is right there is our office number, and yeah.
There's nobody in right now. Well, he's down on there's flooding down on 90, so he's out down there. But I'm very glad one's I knew you were behind this, but I didn't have time to say anything.
Well, yeah, I feel bad for him. Just tell him not to let it get to him.
All right. Well, safe travels the rest of your way. Yeah.
Just licking that ass up. They could almost killed y'all, dude. Shaking these motherfuckers' hands after they damage your car. But watch it go. Karma's a motherfucker, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, karma's a motherfucker. Watch this shit, because we ain't done.
Need your info. For a passenger, right?
Yeah.
The body cams were not turned off at this point, but the agency redacted the video and audio footage of the trainer explaining what happened. We know this to be true, as just 5 minutes later, as the troopers are leaving the scene, the trainer advises the rookie to turn off all cameras.
We can turn off the cameras though, because we're clear of everything.
The next day, Jamie and Genevieve sought medical care for their minor injuries and attempted to file an insurance claim. But he was told by his insurance company that they wouldn't even try to pursue a claim against the MSP because they would claim official immunity, meaning Jamie would now be on the hook for the cost of his deductible, an increase in his premium, and healthcare costs related to the collision. 3 days later, he received a call from Trooper Casey Meager.
Jamie, it's Casey calling back with the State Patrol. I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but did you finish your emails? No, I haven't. This is what they told me. They will throw the immune clause right back at us directly, and we will immediately we won't fight it because we can't. And I'm like, what? So I was about to be confident. So, Jamie, if I can for a second give you a little bit of perspective, okay? This incident and what we are dealing with and talking about has already taken place, right? So we can't change what happened. The normal process for any other incident, any other crash, the troopers have 10 days in order to complete those things, right? So I'm not sure. Once you're great captain, this is not a normal situation. Well, anytime we've got a squad car involved in a situation, it's not normal. You're correct. Absolutely.
At this point, Jamie realized he should seek legal counsel and hired an attorney.
Jamie, it's Casey with State Patrol, not a marshal.
Well, I've been advised by my counsel to any communication to me on also my lawyer. It's sad that I've been my daughter have been treated this way. We want authority, obviously.
Well, and just so we're clear, Jamie, I'm not going to reach out to an attorney or a lawyer. So if that's the route you want to go with this, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I'm not going to sit and do that with the attorney. If we're going to deal with the attorney, they can deal with the things through the legal system like the attorneys do, right?
It has flipped our world upside down, and our insurance company is being tricked too now. And because it's $11,500 and the cars are $12,000, the State Farm's fighting it.
The following month, Jamie had to pay for the accident report. What it shows is that the crash report Trooper Meager hadn't looked at because he wanted to give the investigators 10 days was created on the same day of the collision and signed off by a supervisor the very next day. The report also showed that the rookie had made an improper turn during an emergency operation, but without emergency warning equipment in use due to unspecified external distractions. It also states that the driver didn't see Jamie's vehicle, and that the State Patrol did not conduct any sobriety tests on their troopers, nor did the MSP cite the rookie, but he resigned from the agency 2 weeks after the collision. The case was eventually escalated to the Department of Administration, who took another few months to review it.
Minnesota takes care of its own and does things the right way.
And finally, on Valentine's Day in 2025, Leah Shedlock, the senior claims representative at the Minnesota Department of Administration, sent Jamie a letter that claims the accident was nearly identical to Vanshake v. Letourneau, and that the Minnesota State Court of Appeals had granted the troopers and the state official immunity in that case. And based on that, Minnesota would not be paying Jamie for the damage their negligence caused. However, in the case Leah cited as nearly identical, the trooper saw a vehicle in an oncoming lane and wanted to pull him over. He pulled into a driveway and activated his emergency lights, checked his mirrors, and noticed a vehicle slowing down. Assuming that they were letting the trooper go, the trooper pulled out and caused an accident. The Court of Appeals would later find that the trooper's conduct in that case involved the performance of discretionary duties and was not malicious, meaning that he was just doing his job.
This case is about protecting the discretion and authority that state troopers need to enforce the laws on state highways. To do their job, state troopers rely upon the discretion to assume the right of way as an emergency vehicle. That is, to disregard certain traffic laws in certain circumstances. When they employ this discretion, they're protected by official immunity unless their actions are malicious. I'd like to focus on two main areas. First, that Trooper Letourneau did have authority to assume the right of way as an emergency vehicle. And second, that because he acted in good faith In performance of a discretionary duty, he's entitled to official immunity. As the district court stated he should have waited for Mr. Van Schaik to pass him, then every passing moment, the speeding vehicle would have been getting farther and farther away from him, and he would have had to go quite far above the speed limit to catch up. The ability to assume the right of way as an emergency vehicle means that he wasn't bound by any traffic laws. He was engaged in a discretionary duty and had the discretionary decision to initiate the traffic stop.
Official immunity is not an absolute immunity. It is, or for the actions of public employees in the performance of their official duties. Not all police conduct, even in emergency situations, if there is one here, is afforded immunity. Assuming that the trooper has the ability to disregard traffic laws while pursuing just an average person they see violating the law, they still have a duty to drive the vehicle for the due regard for the safety of other people on the highway, and they have an ongoing duty the entire time to not drive their vehicle in a careless or reckless manner. General Order 0820-033, which is specifically titled the Emergency Vehicle Operation. Under that general order with the State Patrol, states in there that this policy does not relieve any authorized emergency vehicle from the duty to drive with due regard for safety of persons using the highway, which is the exact definition that's used in the careless driving statute. So when you compare those, even if he is an emergency vehicle, and that previous statute or that previous general order applies to give him that authority, he still has a duty to drive with due care. These policies one doesn't cancel out the other.
However, the very first thing written in the opinion of the case Leah cited is that the case is non-precedential. This means that the court's decision in this case is not meant to be used as binding authority in future cases, but Leah presented it as though she is the judge. The second point of contention is that Trooper Letourneau had activated his emergency lights and noticed the vehicle, while in Jamie's case, Trooper Winthet did not notice Jamie and did not activate his emergency lights, and instead, he disregarded all traffic law. Official immunity was created to protect the state and state employees, to prevent public officials from second-guessing themselves out of concern that their government employer could sustain liability from their actions. But isn't this obvious negligence for life and property something that we want agents of the government to second-guess themselves? Here's the kicker though. Leah Shudlock is the Senior Insurance Claims Manager for the Department of Administration and cannot grant official immunity to the state, a state trooper, or anyone else. Official immunity can only be applied and granted by the courts. It is up to a judge, and a judge only, to determine whether a state trooper or another public official is entitled to immunity. And
Picture this. Think about how crazy it is how they trying to play. They got this bitch that works for an organization that looks over things. Insurance, obviously, and she's making the determination. They sending this letter in the mail hoping that he's so stupid that he'll get that letter and just give up. That's why they sent that letter. I'll be like, why y'all even sending me shit? This shit gonna play out in court. Nah, they sending me shit. Yeah, this court case that we looked up is identical to your situation, and the judge ruled immunities on the board, so we don't have to pay anything. Sent that in the mail, so he just stopped. And then on top of that, the case is not even similar. Okay. The only thing that's similar in this is a cop hit a civilian. There's a lot of different things about it.
Personally, I don't understand how anyone with a healthy mind could make this determination and feel like a good person. This is flat out evil, especially when you consider what Jamie is asking for. You see, Jamie went through his own insurance because the state refused to accept responsibility. He paid for his own vehicle, his medical bills for himself and his daughter, and was only requesting that the state repay his $1,000 insurance deductible. But instead, Jamie is now being forced to pay for the damages caused by the government's negligence because, fuck you. Basically, they even made him pay for the records they created for the accident they created. On March 25th of 2025, a lower claims manager, Dave Larrabee, called Jamie and confirmed once again that they are standing on their decision for immunity without a court's determination. I offered to help Jamie to crowdfund his legal costs, but he has declined, fearing that raising funds would take in more than the legal fees would cost, and he's only interested in accountability and perhaps making case law. His lawsuit is in the works. Neither the MSP or Department of Administration would agree to comment on this incident, and I don't blame them. Who would want to face the public when you can barely look yourself in the mirror? Let me know what you think of this situation.
He a super dummy, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, that fat dude right there walking right now with his hat in his hand is a super dummy. He ain't want this dude to help him crowdfund to pay for his lawyers All because he said that it might raise more money than what I need, and I just want to get the shit taken care of. Dude, what is wrong? You shaking these people's hand when they almost deleted you and your daughter on this road. Y'all were going pretty fast. Probably about 65, 70 miles an hour. He sideswiped you like that? Dude, they use it as pit maneuvers to flip cars over when they chasing people. They just did that to you. You shaking their hand, kissing their ass left and right. And turn out now, they like, no, we ain't even gonna pay for that shit, bro. $1,000 deductible. He's so stupid. I don't even want y'all to pay for the medical bills and stuff when I went in there and got checked. I just want y'all to pay for the insurance deductible. Just pay the deductible, please. I just want accountability. They told you, fuck you. We ain't paying for shit. I don't care that we hit your car. I don't care that we ain't got our seatbelt on. I don't care about none of that shit. You gonna pay for that shit, motherfucker. We gotta get our own shit fixed. That's what they told him. His stupid dumb ass over here turning downhill to get this shit, man. Dude, just licking that ass, bro. I'm talking about, and it be these type of Americans, man. It be these type of Americans that allow these motherfuckers to keep doing bullshit. They're complicit with the dumb shit they do. With you not taking full action against these motherfuckers and trying to hold their ass accountable. Look at what they doing to you, man. You still trying to get a simple problem fixed, and they said, fuck you. And you still trying to be nice and courteous with these people. They done told you, fuck you to your face. And you still, man, I just don't understand it, man. I'm talking about, it's kind of like that Stockholm syndrome shit, man. You in love with your goddamn captor. Like them house niggas back in slave days. They love Master. Master don't give a fuck about you, man. Master to smash your wife and break. I don't need to say all these words. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm pissed off. Look, the cops. Yeah, I got an issue with them, but guess what? I'm not surprised with them doing what they do. I'm actually more pissed off about the citizen in this situation for not. Like, dude, what is wrong with you? I bet money you probably let somebody beat on your daughter. That's crazy, dude. That don't make no sense, man. That makes absolutely no sense, man. We done went all the way from just sitting on the easement to getting arrested, and they trying to hem you up for that shit, to laughing, flashing high beams and laughing, getting you locked up, to we almost ran these people off the road, and then the citizen is over here kissing their ass. It's been a very interesting night, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the show, man. Hope y'all enjoyed it, because that one right there just got me. Don't be stupid like that. If these motherfuckers wrong, you go through every avenue you possibly can to hold these motherfuckers accountable. $1,000 from the city, from this city. They fighting this man hard over $1,000. They probably done wrote over 3,000, 5,000 tickets in just that one day. They done generated that money in just one day. You can't pay for some shit y'all did. That's crazy. Fight you tooth and nail. Y'all know when y'all owe the government money, they'll put interest on that shit. Let the government owe you money. Oh, you just gonna have to wait for it until we get ready. It's the ultimate slap in the face. It's the ultimate slap in the face. And hopefully some of our Americans start waking up to this disrespect. This is just highway robbery. This is extortion. This shit should be illegal. And until we start saying something about this shit, y'all, it's gonna continue. And it's gonna get worse. It's going to get worse. And more we got bootlickers around here doing that shit. Hopefully we can keep informing people about these things that are going on so you understand the inside of it. Don't just keep watching Cops and watching Chips and all these other TV shows where they use to indoctrinate your ass to make you think that these cops is all do it right. Law and order and all that shit. Nah, fuck all that. We need to show you the real side of this shit in real reenacted readaptation in real life. Y'all need to see this shit. Stop watching that shit because this ain't it. But look, man, it's been fun. Y'all hit that like for your boy. Once again, if you were watching over on Let's Talk on Facebook, Let's Talk over here on YouTube, or the JJ Network over here on YouTube, hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn them notices on, click all, and share the videos, y'all. Share the videos so we can get the word out and this stuff more, because people need to know so they can act right. When you know, you can act better. But your boy gonna get up out of here, and I'll catch y'all in the next one as always, man.
Don't tell me about me. Stop telling 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 me about me. I don't need you to tell me about me.